everybody, and Happy New Year's. Hopefully, everybody got home safe, had a good time last night, and brought in the new year right. I wasn't planning on shooting a video today, but I was hanging out with a girlfriend and I decided, you know what, why not shoot a video to start the new year off and make that video geared towards the new angler. So that's what I'm going to do. And I thought, if I'm going to make a video for a new angler, we need to make it where they can try out bass fishing on the cheap. So just a disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by anybody. So I'm going to recommend to you what works and for as cheap as possible. So I compiled a list right here of everything you need to go out and catch bass with 3 different methods for as cheap as possible. And I was able to get it down to below $80, which is perfect for really wanting to learn it. And this is going to be geared towards the person who either has never picked up a rod and reel a day in their life, or they've fished for catfish before but haven't done anything for bass, and they just want to dabble into that field a little bit and are wondering what they need to get started. You might have some of this stuff laying around and you might not have to worry about buying it. But if you've never picked up a rod, I'm going to give you an entire list down in the description below. Alright, so if you're here, then you're still here, that means that you're the new angler I'm talking to. So, I'm going to break this down into 3 little categories. First one is going to be your tackle, like your rod and your reel, your tackle, line, and where to go catch them. I'm going to be bringing up prices as I go on so you have an understanding of what you can do. Now, the great thing about what we're going to be doing here is I can recommend you rod and reel combos on the fairly cheap. So I'm just going to combine those 2 in this video to make this video as short as possible. So let's just jump right into it, get to the meat and potatoes. Right off the rip, the very first thing on the rods is you can either go with a spinner rod, which is this, which is universally the easier rod to use. And cat fishermen use it more often, so we're just going to stick with that as my recommended. We're not going to dive into anything else. Now I recommend you go to your local Walmart, which almost everyone has one nearby, and go pick up the Lowe's American Hero spinning rod. Now this one ranges about $40, exactly $40.57 for the smallest one, which is enough to catch most bass. You don't need to go super heavy. You can go pick that up. Now, really quick, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here so you have an understanding. When you're looking at the rods, this is a bait caster, it's not a spinning rod. But on this one, on the bottom, on the underside of the reel and the rod, you're going to see some descriptions down here. This is going to tell you everything you need to know about the rod. Now I recommend you go down and pick up a medium heavy or a medium rod and stick anywhere between the 6'8" to 7 foot range. I wouldn't go any bigger than that. And you can pick that exact one up that is a medium from Walmart rod and reel combo, $40.57. Very cheap. Now we're going to jump into the next part. We're going to jump into essential tackles such as your fishing line, hooks, and weights. Now, on the fishing line, I recommend you just go straight braid. My reasoning for this one is because it's not going to win knot as easy as like the fluorocarbon or the monofilament, because it doesn't have the memory, the shape memory of it. So stick with the braid. It's good, it's strong, it's durable, and I recommend the Power Pro 10-pound line, which is going to run you $13.88 for the smallest roll you can get. Pick that up and put that on your rod. Now for other baits, pick up a pack of these, which are going to run you 94 cents. These are bullet weights. These are going to slide up your line before you tie on your hook. So you'll tie it, the point up, slide it through, slide it down your line, and then you'll tie your hook on. Now hooks. Pick up these. These are EWG hooks. I recommend a 4/0, but you can go with the 3. The 5/0s are more expensive, so stick with the 3s or the 4s. Stick with those, and then tie that on. Now, that's pretty much your essential tackle. That's everything you need right there. Now let's move into baits. Now on the bait selection, I picked everything to be as easy to use as possible. User-friendly, brand new, and can work on the rod that I gave you. Maybe not designed for it, but it can work on those rods and you can make them work to catch your first bass. So all these rods, except for all these baits, except for the last one, are going to be cast out and retrieve. Cast it out, bring it back to you. Cast it out, bring it back to you. And the first one is one of my favorite baits of all time, and still is today, is a spinnerbait. You can buy some of these for less than $1 at Walmart, or you can pick up the more expensive ones for anywhere between $5 to $6 to $7. Doesn't really matter the configuration. I recommend the more natural colors, especially for fishing in a bigger lake. For fishing in a smaller lake like a pond, I recommend more of the brighter colors, maybe black or white. The blade configuration, we're not going to dive into that right now. Just buy one of them. Doesn't matter what the blades look like. Just pick the color and go. If you like the color, cool. Not, don't worry about it. Still going to work just fine. Still going to catch a bass on it at some point. Second bait, and one that I caught my first bass on in my entire life, was a buzz bait. Now these are a top water bait. Unlike the spinner bait, these hang out on top of the water as you retrieve it back, so you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see when a bass attacks your line. The spinner bait, when you're bringing it back, it'll be just below the surface, and as you're reeling, you'll feel like it hang, and then that's where you just keep reeling it in, just like with this one. You get a bite, keep reeling. The hook will do most of the work for you. You won't have to do much. Now, the final bait, and one that I always have tied on my boat, regardless of season or wherever, is the Texas rig. Now, a Texas rig is your weedless bait. It's a bit more complicated than the others because you have to cast it out, let it kind of sink, and dance it up. So, for example, when you're out there fishing, you're going to cast this bait out, and you're going to dance the rod, reel in the slack. Dance the rod, reel in the slack. Dance, reel. Pretty simple process. You don't have to go super complicated with your movements because you're just trying to catch a fish. That's it. So this is bare bones simple. Now, with that being said, that's everything you need to go out and catch fish. Except, pick up one of these. Pick up a pack of these. A pack of these was running, what, $8? Fairly cheap. Just a little plastic stick bait. You can pick up one of those, or you can go down and buy these. Now, when you're first starting, I like the meatier presentation because it really gets the attention of the fish around you. You can also go with the more slim presentations with the craws. And you'll tie them on. Your hook will go through the top, back around and hook in on itself. I'll have a separate video on that one and I'll show you in depth on how to tie that because me at first I didn't know either, so stay tuned for that one. Now with all of that tied together and fishing license bought so you don't get in trouble and get yourself a hefty fine for Kansas, comes out to $82.75. Now if you already got a fishing license, don't worry about it. It comes out to a grand total of $76.75 under the 80 mark that I was shooting for. and well below the 100. So with that being said, that's everything you need to get out there and do it. Now you just need to know where to fish. Now, this one, if you got a dam, go fish a dam, right? Between now and the end of summer, go fish the dam. If you're on the dam and you see some trees sunken in the corner over there, and you can see the trees sticking out, go fish these around that. If there's a dock nearby, near deep water, go fish that dock. Fish it up close, reel it away. Try to cast it as close as you can, or just stand on the dock and cast out. Within those two areas, you should be able to catch a decent bass pretty quick. It's not a guarantee, but for these baits to really be effective, I would start fishing and trying this out in March and April, and you'll probably catch a lot of bass there. I can't guarantee you'll catch anything right now with them because it's cold and there's a different presentation for them, but you will catch bass with them, especially if this summer you're looking to try it out. That's everything you need to go do that on the cheap. With that being said, that's everything you need to know to go out and catch bass, and I hope that you are willing to try this out. Tell me what you think about it. If you think my list was a little off, it costs a little bit more than I said, tell me down in the comments. Tell me what you caught. Give me a size, give me a link. I'll be happy to share it and post it on the page. But with that being said, I'll talk to you soon, and Happy New Year's.